Well, thanks for that introduction. Hey, everybody, my name is Rob Cody. I work on the community engagement team for Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper. Thank you all for joining us here today. For those of you who are the uninitiated, as we like to call them, our mission is fourfold. We protect the waterways of the Lake Erie and Niagara River watershed. We restore the areas around those waterways. We connect people to them, and we inspire engagement in the watershed. But what is a watershed? Has anybody heard that? I'm not going to quiz anybody too hard, but who is familiar with the concept of a watershed? Excellent. That's about the same ratio. Well, a watershed is an area of land where all the water that enters it flows to one specific location, right? So it's a fairly simple concept, but when we talk about the Lake Erie and Niagara River watershed, we mean that all the water that enters that system, whether it's from precipitation, runoff, groundwater, it all ends up in either the lake over there or the Niagara River. It's a huge area of land, over 900,000 acres. We got thousands of miles of waterways. We're very, very lucky to have such an abundance of fresh water in Western New York. But when we talk about protecting it, that means our work is cut out for us. So we're here today to talk a little bit about Scajaquada Creek, the sub-watershed that we're currently located in, and how the decisions that we make around that watershed affect our everyday life. Who here has participated in the annual spring sweep? Nice, thank you for that. Yeah, it's our biggest event of the year, but we get up to a lot of other stuff outside of that. We do stuff like restoration work, we do water quality monitoring, we do education, we do additional cleanups. And while those have been elements of our work for over 35 years now, really the impetus for our formation was a collective concern over the Buffalo River. And considering the success that has been found in community partnerships and engagement in that corridor, we're really looking to set our sights elsewhere in Western New York in the Niagara River Lake Erie watershed, specifically with Scajaquada Creek. Now, that's a creek that unfortunately has been impaired over decades and decades of mismanagement, but we're hoping to keep that track record of success alive with Scajaquada Creek. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that today as we go on our tour. That work has already begun at places like Forest Lawn, where we have some living shoreline restoration sites. We're doing our water quality monitoring, we're doing our cleanups, but there's some very exciting stuff in the works and on the horizon that Emily is going to talk about at our next stop, and just wanted to set the stage before we head out on our ride. So thank you again for joining us, and I think we're going to have a nice, beautiful ride. Look at it. The sun opened up for us. Thanks. All right. Thanks, Rob.
You're in luck. This stop is not all about me. You're going to get some knowledge about the work that Waterkeeper is doing in our community to keep our drinking water safe, keep our water safe.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing tonight? You feeling good? Yes, awesome. Well, can you guys remind me what creek we just went over right here? Scajaquada Creek at West Ave, and this is actually one of our water testing sites. So we have a program at Waterkeeper called River Watch. And so we test sites all over the region that aren't tested because typically they're not swimming beaches. So if you're ever curious about some of your local waterways, we have an amazing online database for all of our local waterways, including Scajaquada, which is what we're talking about here tonight. So when we first just rode by, you may have noticed a sign. It had a few little tags on it. Does anyone know what that sign is? And it's by a lot of different waterways, and it's usually connected to a pipe that you can visibly see. And it's called a short CSO, a combined sewer overflow system. Raise your hand if you knew that the city of Buffalo has a combined sewer overflow system. Okay, some of you, that's okay. We're going to talk about it. So a CSO is when the sewers are combined with stormwater. Right? So it just rained a little bit ago. Now I don't know if it was over a half an inch. I was going to check before we came, but likely we got over a half an inch. And when that happens, we have combined sewer overflows. So we have a combined sewer system in the city of Buffalo, which is awesome. That means all the water, when it rains, all the water that flows on our streets and all of our municipal water get treated and head to Bird Island, where it's all treated before it empties out into the Niagara River, right? But in a separate system, like areas outside of the city of Buffalo, the stormwater does not get treated. So a combined sewer system isn't all bad. I actually think it's good now. I used to say, boo, combined sewer system, but no, we want all that water to be treated. But unfortunately, when we have heavy rain events, untreated water goes directly into our fresh waterways. Skajakwada is definitely, unfortunately, gets harmed by a lot of those combined sewer overflows, particularly here in the city of Buffalo and by the mouth of the creek. So we're not far from the mouth. Really, that's just a fancy term for the terminus of the creek, of Skajakwada Creek. In the very beginning, does anyone know what the beginning of a creek might be called?
The source.
Source water or the headwaters. Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone know where Skajakwada Creek's headwaters are located? A little bit farther east. It starts in Lancaster, actually. Flows through Cheektowaga, Depew, and then actually there's an area where the creek goes underground because it was so incredibly polluted. We didn't understand the connection between pollution and human health, so we buried it in the 20s for basically the entire east side of Buffalo. So the creek does run there. If you were on this ride last year, we went to Florida Street Linear Park. We were standing right on top of Skajakwada because it is in fact connected to that combined sewer system on the east side of Buffalo. So that's just one little fun fact about Skajakwada. There's so much more to learn and know, and right now we're working on a community-driven restoration plan. So we want to bring the community in and say, hey, guess what? There's a lot of hope and possibility for this creek. Despite the overflows, it's actually spring-fed. So underneath Forest Lawn and in the headwaters, there's actually bubbling up freshly recharged spring water for Skajakwada, which really gives it so much hope. So I invite you to join us at Waterkeeper all month long in Skajakwada, September. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we go and have our party afterwards, but we have an incredible community advisory group that we've been spending a lot of time working with this year, and there's so much more to come. This plan will come out in 2026, and I invite you all to come be a part of it. Thanks.